Finally, British brands are catching up with the competition, and I actually think they might somewhat be taking over. More daring designs, super competitive pricing, and some good old-fashioned British sophistication. I attended a watch event over the weekend in my hometown of Manchester, and got hands-on with hundreds of watches from over 20 different British watch brands, some of which are living rent-free in my head. So I thought I'd take you through the best 20 brands, the best watches from each brand, and how much they cost. Then I'll also give you my top 5 watches from the show at the end of the video. And I can guarantee there'll be some watches in this video that you've never seen before. And I know videos like this don't help your chronic watch addiction, I'm sorry. Number 20, a super underrated British brand, Escudo. These guys were founded in just 2020 but have quickly found themselves amongst some of the highest quality British dive watches. They feature both British and Portuguese influence due to their owner's heritage, which is celebrated throughout various sections of their watches. The quality here is way higher than your average micro-brand diver, with them also using high-beat Swiss automatic movements. Probably the biggest British brand, Christopher Ward. Although all production is done in Switzerland to earn the Swiss-made stamp, this is very much a British brand. Plenty of military heritage can be found amongst the catalogue, but they're now best known for models like the Belcanto and 12, which deliver high-end watchmaking at a much more competitive price point. This is also one of the older independent British brands, founded over 20 years ago now. On the flip side, a super underrated British brand is Alkin. These guys combine two things that often don't mix together: minimalist designs with proper tool watches. Now they have two models in the catalogue, a compressor style piece and a traditional diver. My favourites are the brushed copper Model 3 with a dual time bezel and the full lume dial Model 2, both of which have super clean designs with great legibility, and the price point here is super competitive. For those of you who enjoy artistic watchmaking, we have Paulin. These guys are based in Glasgow, Scotland, and offer watches that look like nothing else. Designs here are completely original, with each part being bespoke to the watch, and every model here features a Swiss movement. My favourite is the Oh No 35mm, swiftly followed by the Neo GMT. These are wacky watches, but the quality here is superb. One of the best value British brands is Monro Adventure. Just two models here, a GMT with a world time bezel and a time only diver, both of which you can find for under £300. You even get a choice of steel or bronze, with plenty of colours to fit your collection. They had this brand new colourway at the show, a vivid orange delivering serious Doxer vibes, but obviously for considerably less. I believe this watch is launching on the same weekend as this video. Number 15, we have Isotope. This brand was founded in 2016 and again has both British and Portuguese heritage. Isotope has a distinctive DNA that can be seen throughout their catalogue, a bold use of colours and shapes being the biggest factor here. They're best known for their dive watches, which often use oversized hands and sandblasted cases, but my favourite is the bronze old radium pilot's watch, which just looks so sexy. One of the newest British brands, Edward Christopher. These guys only have one model, but it's a bloody beauty. The Manta is a compressor style diver with a stunning guilloche dial. It features an integrated strap, so it has that proper sporty look, and everything on this watch is custom made, but it's the bold use of colours here that separates it from the competition. A brand that you probably have heard of, Phase. These guys go down that British sophistication route better than almost anyone else. The whole catalogue here is charming and elegant, with simple designs and understated energy. The watches are well sized and the attention to detail is immaculate, but the price point is a tough one. Almost £3 for these isn't super competitive, especially when you compare them against a brand like Nomos. One of the biggest surprises at the show was Oliver Meylan. This was my first time seeing this brand and I was fairly impressed. Two watches caught my eye here. Their sports watch piece that features this cool marble dial, and then this dressier rose gold piece that features a dial finish that imitates the surface of the moon, both using Swiss quartz movements and coming in under £500. Another big British brand, Fairer. These guys have been around since 2015 and are best known for their use of vivid colours. They have a complete catalogue with a variety of styles, shapes and sizes, and generally speaking, prices here are competitive. Swiss movements including mechanical GMTs and automatic chronographs, plus there really is a watch for everybody here. Dress pieces, divers and military inspired, all of which are a ton of fun and don't take themselves too seriously. Another brand I got hands on with for the first time, Helicon. Founded in 2018 by a husband and wife team, these guys specialise in making affordable dive watches, some of which feature hand-painted gradient dials. Aesthetics here are classic dive watch, with a boxy silhouette and no crown guards, and these watches are made in small batches of just 50 units per model, so once they sell out, they're gone for good. Spec here is solid for the money, my favourite was the wine red dial. But if you want something completely different, you need to check out a brand called Adley. These guys really are making watches that you won't find elsewhere. These are bicycle-inspired watches. The dial, hands and case are all heavily influenced by various parts of a bike, but it's the unusual K-shape and 12 o'clock crown placement that really sets these apart. This is one of those where you'll either love it or hate it, but I think for the £340 asking price, you get a very cool watch here. My favourite British micro brand, Beaucroft. These guys are from Cambridge and perfectly encapsulate that old school British charm. Most of their catalogue is dress watches with beautiful details, but the new element is the ultimate everyday watch. Specs across all models are good for the money, but it's the designs here that make these watches special. Clearly meticulously thought out and try to be original and create something special. I love them that much, I was wearing my personal Seeker teal to the show. Elliot Brown, a brand that seriously caught my attention at this show. I've seen them before, but they had some new models that I really liked the look of this time. These guys were founded in 2013 and specialise in making tough and rugged watches. They put their models through real-world tests to make sure these watches are fit for purpose, and these watches have seen real-world combat. Therefore, you do get that proper tool watch aesthetic here, with specs that make them truly capable. Next up, a super new brand, Sherwood. After a successful Kickstarter launch in 2023, they've quickly made a name for themselves amongst micro-brand enthusiasts. Inspired by Sherwood Forest, where Robin Hood was set, these watches feature little Easter eggs to this heritage, the arrow tip 12 o'clock index being the perfect example of this. I was shocked at how thin the bezels are on these, probably the thinnest ceramic bezel that I've ever seen in fact. These have a solid design and are offered at a good price point. They also have a GMT coming soon using the Meylan 9075, which is super competitively priced. Zero West is a watch brand for the military nerds. These watches take things to a whole new level with production. Nothing here is off the shelf, everything is unique. Now, you do pay for that because these watches are quite pricey, but you do get great spec, including Swiss automatic movements. Designs here are heavily military inspired, with some of their watches featuring metal from planes that actually flew during World War II. My favourite was the M1 Mosquito, which offered a good balance between classic military watch and contemporary design. Pinion is a British brand that I think a lot of people will like. They take the minimalist approach to design with a nice use of colours and shapes. Founded in 2013, this is one of the older British micro brands that just keeps things simple. Just 3 watches in the current collection, a field watch style piece, a dressier watch, and then a chronograph. Swiss mechanical movements across all models, and I think they offer very classy designs here. My favourite was the copper dial chronograph with blued hands. It wouldn't be a British watch show without Duckworth Prestex. I've been a big fan of this brand ever since I saw them at my first ever show, and they continue to impress. Beautiful GMT watches with tons of detail, stunning vintage inspired watches with cushion cases, and some super sleek chronographs with a great use of colour. And don't forget the Centenary, which is one of the best looking dress watches on the planet, with tons of choice of colour across the whole Duckworth Prestex range. Prices here are also competitive, using Meylan movements to keep the cost down. There simply isn't another watch brand like Mr. Jones watches. These guys hand make their watches down in London, with each dial being hand printed and assembled in-house, which is very impressive when you consider just how cheap these pieces are. Yes, the designs are incredibly wacky and sometimes strange, but they're often designed by a real working artist. I think what Mr. Jones does for the price is simply incredible, and if you need a bit more fun in your life, no brand does it better. The brand that impressed me the most, Apair. These watches are 3D printed using titanium right here in England. Therefore, these are some of the only watches that can actually write "Made in the UK" on the dial. Everything on this watch is taken seriously. Case, dial, movement, every detail has been covered. Their new model is inspired by Einstein's theory of wormholes. The idea here is that the hand-painted astronaut on the dial is passing through a wormhole, which is the watch itself. Yeah, I know it's crazy, but it kinda works. So, what are my top 5 watches from the show? Okay, number 5 goes to the new guilloche dial Belcanto by Christopher Ward. I think this is an excellent evolution of the Belcanto, and they've somehow made this watch even better. Number 4 goes to the Paulin Oh No in 35mm. This is a super cool piece that I'd love to throw on over the weekend for a bit of fun. Number 3, so third place, goes to Alkin with the full loom dial compressor. I really enjoy the minimalist design here and the near perfect symmetry. Second place goes to Escudo with the bronze and steel Seacrest. This is a prototype that I'd sell my left kidney to own. It's such a beauty. And first place goes to the Beaucroft Seeker Teal. Yes, the watch that I was wearing to the show. Because I absolutely adore this watch, and it's not always about what's next. next. Sometimes it's about appreciating what you already have. Let me know in the comments below which watches from this video you want to see me review. If you enjoyed it, drop a like rating, and I'll catch you in the next one, guys. Bye for now.